rematch between a resurgent paragon of consistency and a venomous duo is what we have here for you tonight. Welcome back to the 5-Digit United States Cup 2026. We are in the finals of the Major League in the lower bracket. And bringing you tonight's match, it will be me, Bless. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. It is so wonderful to be here. Unfortunately, my co-caster is a little bit delayed, caught up in a match of his own, but he will be here shortly, and we will welcome him when he finally arrives, of course. Who am I talking about other than Georgia and Pennsylvania? This is a rematch of the round of 16, where Pennsylvania took that match 6-4. In what was a lot closer than what people were thinking at the time, actually. Going back to around a month ago when, yes, Tarragon was still putting up quite good performances, but relying mostly on Yan Yan to cover the rest of the pool for her, as well as some specialists who were still quite able on the lower SR. Looking at AC for the reading, of course, and General H for some of the tapping and mechanics, as Shogeki was still quite rusty, but fast forward a few weeks now, Georgia back in the swing of things. Shogeki has returned back in form, and Tarragon is still putting up ridiculous scores week after week after week, and they're looking to put up quite a show today. But of course, on the other side, they have to face against Pennsylvania. That is the dynamic duo Venom Puffs and Raymexia. Week after week, they have done, I mean, what some would maybe think is to be the unthinkable, but knowing the strength in these two players, it is very much well within the realm of possibilities. Although in a bit of a slight break of form last weekend, going all the way to tiebreaker against New York, where it was actually Venom Puffs from Mexia to take the fall, and one of their newcomers, Daziak, who stepped up in that map, unfortunately not able to take the match. So here they are down in the losers bracket against Georgia. We are getting already into the bans. We see a quick DT3 ban from Georgia and a flex one from Pennsylvania. Probably going to see another one of those reading bans. We did see a lot of double hidden ban coming out from Pennsylvania throughout the entire tournament. In fact, every single round except for last round, where they had to ban Force Mod 2 against New York, was just the double hidden ban. Here instead we do see the Flex 1, the Easy DT coming out this week, so unfortunately not able to see that. But likely just a hidden 2 ban. They are able to play the Easy thanks to the likeness of Bemp and Taco Snaz. And usually they are having a third player just brute force learn the map. Usually one of Raymexia or Venom Puffs from what I recall. So we do await their second ban as they do take a moment to deliberate. And Georgia going to be banning out the DT3, as, I mean, you're looking at Raymexia, Venom Puffs, and what else would you ban than the DT3, the speed map, 270 BPM bursts. If there's anyone who can still consistently FC that map with good accuracy at this stage, it would be Raymexia. Posting his Elite Bot rating the other day in either the 5USC or USA V3 chats, and Grandmaster on DT, like, yes, we're being real about this. Anyway, returning to the rest of the pick bans here, it's going to be an easy one. Ban 2 close things out for Pennsylvania. Maybe just a little bit too difficult to try and learn at this stage, and they're just going to hedge their bets on Venom Puffs, mechanics on the hidden, and have some players to fill. Maybe Raymexia can fill, maybe he can't. I assume he can fill the hidden 1 and hidden 3 at least, but hidden 1 or hidden 2 is also a bit of an aim map. We'll have to see what they have in store for those picks, or if they're just sort of surrendering them to Georgia, as Georgia might just be forced to surrender some of the tapping picks to Pennsylvania as well. Gonna be closing things out with a DT1 ban for Georgia, cutting out some of the 10.3, but interestingly enough, leaving the 10.5 open. Now, we did see some rather surprising scores on that map from New Jersey B in the minor league, actually. Bonnie Abadir putting up almost an FC. I believe it was something like 800 or 900k. So, and also not exactly the biggest high AR player, you know, more known for the easy and the hiddens. So maybe it is just a very practicable map, but you know, with that DT4 left open, what else is there for Pennsylvania to first pick other than the DT4? Just a quick shout out, of course, as we do have multiple matches going on tonight. At the same time on the B stream, that is match ID B59 Texas B versus New Jersey B. Make sure you can make sure you pull up the multi-stream link that was put up in Stream Announce if you care to watch that. And then as well as right after this, there is a potential match between the winner of this match versus New Jersey A. So we'll have some pretty rapid fire matches this evening. One of these teams will have to go in maybe a little bit tired, maybe a little bit warmed up, depending on your perspective, into another match right away. But for now, we do have this DT4 underway, most likely just going to be Remexia Venom Puffs +1, although the +1 is a little bit interesting. We do see Taco Snoz sitting in the lobby at the moment, a bit of a gimmick player, maybe in for some of those techier elements if they were able to practice and just learn the high AR. Although, if you do want to go for that raw high AR comfort, then maybe someone like Daziak would be a better choice. But it does look like it's just going to be Taco Snoz accompanying the normal duo for Pennsylvania, and for Georgia, going to be who else but Tarragon, Shogeki, Yan Yan for the skill cap pick of this pool. As here we are right into things. Air 10.5, not a common skill set in 5-digit at all. Usually only seen in extreme late stages as a gimmick, and therefore letting the actual map itself be quite simple. This map is actually not so simple. It's a little tricky with, as you can see already, some of these sliders and slider bodies and how they overlap, and having to press on for a little bit longer than as if it were just a normal hit circle. Early misses coming out from Taco Snoz, but here we go into the KI section. Going to be traded out between Yan Yan and Taco Snoz here. Remexia and Venom Puff still holding strong with some quite good accuracy, but they are matched by Tarragon and Shogeki at the moment, and Taco Snoz continuing to struggle in this KI section. Just not quite able to keep up with the AR. Meanwhile, Yan Yan does find his way into a little bit of recovery, and that's going to put Georgia a little bit of an advantage. But there goes Tarragon on a really unfortunate miss in the bridge section. You don't want to be missing here as we approach the break, about halfway point of the map. There should be a break coming up here. But that will just give the lead over to Pennsylvania despite Taco Snoz's continued struggles, and Remexia and Venom Puffs holding on. I don't know if they had time to peek at the leaderboards there, maybe during the slider, if their fingers were quick enough and their attention span held, but Tarragon once again dropping it is, however, Yan Yan with a decent recovery here. 400, almost 500 now and climbing, but Tarragon continuing to struggle. I mean, Taco Snoz does as well. Just not having such a great time in this map, but Venom Puffs and Remexia still needing to hold against Shogeki's FC and the recovery of Yan Yan. Taco Snoz continuing to falter, but there goes Yan Yan, and that score lead is going to skyrocket now. Tarragon has nothing of a recovery. Remexia finally going down, so score lead not quite skyrocketing too fast, and Venom Puff still has to hold into this ending to keep things close, or keep things in their favor, but I think he's done enough at this point, and yeah, there it is. Double misses between Venom Puffs and Shogeki. And there you go. That is the map. As Pennsylvania do manage to take the first point in a stellar performance between Remexia and Venom Puffs. And Taco Snoz, unfortunately, just forced to take the brunt of that map, tank it as you were, and play that third man. Just put in some of that grunt work and let his carry duo, work their magic. So Pennsylvania taking their first pick in perhaps a bit closer fashion than we would have imagined. But Georgia looking to fight back. Probably just going to be running down the hiddens. Hidden 1, 2, 3. Maybe not necessarily in that order, as I don't think they would be starting with hidden 1. Especially with the 2 easy maps out of the pool. It's really just the 3 hidden maps they have for some solid picks. And then things start to get a little interesting, as Pennsylvania really does have almost a monopoly on the mechanics in this pool. Looking at the No Mod 4, which last time they faced, Remexia did actually find an unfortunate slider break right around the halfway point of the map, which I mean, basically decided the map with how close of a scoreline it was. And although this week's No Mod 4 quite a bit aim heavy, and it's also 3 rounds later, many rounds more difficult than what we saw featured back then, back around a month ago. So we'll have to see where Georgia go after they run down the first few hidden picks. Of course, there are still the free mods as well, which should be quite nice for them. You know, getting the duo of Tarragon and Shogeki in on some comfort mods, and then having the third player fill out on whoever's more comfortable. Most likely Yan Yan on the hard rock, although we could see an AC easy pick on one of those potentially. It does depend if he has the hands for it, as we did see him struggle a little bit on the non-hidden 2 easy maps in last round's pool, notably not in for the hidden 3, where Shogeki had to fill in for his shoes. For now, however, it is just going to be that hidden 2 to start things off, and I mean, who else but Tarragon, Yan Yan, and AC? Of course, on the other side, it's going to be Bemp and Daziak, interestingly enough, with Remexia filling, so I mean, we'll see how well Remexia and Daziak can fill on the hidden 2. Their first time playing it, as I believe it's been banned this entire tournament for them. Yes, every single round, hidden 2 banned. And their first time leaving it open. I mean, we don't really have the highest expectations for the defending teams on any of these first few picks, as the matchup is quite lopsided on certain skill sets as they do come. And yeah, on that note, immediately Pennsylvania showing quite the struggles in the other sections of the map. It is Yan Yan to find an early trade, but Daziak and Remexia barely able to get a combo over 100. There goes AC as well, but Tarragon's still holding. I mean, there is a bit of a concern, however, if Georgia doesn't have the supporting combos, then it does come down to a 1v1 between Bemp and Tarragon. Bemp? I mean, things can get a bit dicey, especially with this Remexia recovery combo coming up, and it looks like he has started to get used to the AR8. His mechanics finally able to start showing through, and there goes a Tarragon miss. This is what can happen. This is one of the scenarios where Georgia could actually end up giving up this point. Tarragon broke her combo, and it's actually Remexia on the recovery to pull things back in favor of Pennsylvania. And the thing about the hidden 2 this week, it's not that reading intensive. There's a little bit of funny reading sections or reading patterns, but it's mostly just this 1/3 mechanics, as so many of these players are struggling on just that. Bemp, Daziak, Yan Yan, even AC to a certain degree, and I mean, Tarragon only having found 1 miss, but if you break combo, then you break combo. You lose so much score potential. Remexia will finally trade it back, as Tarragon has built up a decent recovery, and the rest of the lobby is still struggling. Pennsylvania on a full reset just now. So Georgia will bring things back in their favor. But, I mean, okay, surely with a 150,000 score lead, Georgia has built up enough of a buffer. And unfortunately, Bemp just struggling a little bit too much on the mechanics. Despite the expectations on his shoulders. And it was actually Remexia to put up quite a scary score. Maybe scarier than some people would have thought. Of course, Tarragon will close out the recovery for a solid 600,000 score to top off the lobby. But that Remexia score, I mean, when you do have just incredible mechanics as incredible as his, all it takes is some practice and learning how to read, and all of a sudden you can just play anything. And yes, Remex, you very well probably are just in for Hidden 2 next year. That being said, Tarragon does bring home the point for Georgia as they do successfully trade back and forth on the first one. Looking at some of the obvious picks for these teams, I think we have a DT2 No Mod 2 for Pennsylvania. And for Georgia, we do have just the Hidden 1, Hidden 2, as I do believe my co-caster has finally joined me. Welcome to the booth, Matalis. How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Bliss?
Doing pretty good as well. We did have just a couple points traded back between the DT4 and Hidden 2 on these two teams, and I'm thinking we're just going to see some more points traded back and forth. Pennsylvania winning the mechanics, and Georgia winning the remaining gimmick in the pool. As actually, we do have a bit of a spanner in the works here. It's not going to be tapping for Pennsylvania. It's going to be the Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, Hard Rock 1. Let me check the sheet. I think this is the Awkward A map. Am I correct?
It is some mech tech.
Mech. Oh, yeah, wrong. I'm wrong, Paul. I'm bugging. But yeah, this is the mech tech map. This is quite slide. This is pretty much just a bunch of sliders with some stream elements in it. So this is a pretty good pick for Pennsylvania. I do think they have a really good chance on this pick. I know, yeah, Remexia is a really good Hard Rock player, and let me actually look at their roster real quick. Remexia and
Venom Puffs.
Venom Puffs, yeah. I'm bugging, bro. My bad.
Oh, good, and it's probably just Daziak to fill out the third. He's been filling out their Hard Rocks pretty well so far this tournament. As I do believe we need to switch to the gameplay scene, as Tosu might be broken at the moment. There we go.
There we go.
But yeah, Georgia probably just sticking with their core three here: Tarragon, Yanya, and Shogeki. No reason to really bring in any of the others as General H and Mr. Throne. We haven't really seen too much of them as the pools have scaled and gotten harder as the tournament has gone on. AC, we still do see him in for the reading picks, but with the easy one and the flex one banned out and the Hidden 2 already played, I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of him for the rest of this map. But for now, we do just have the expected lobbies, or expected players in the lobby, and we are going to be loading into this one shortly.
Yeah, this is Pennsylvania's pick. So this could, if Georgia were to win this could be a really good breakthrough for them.
Yeah, I mean, the map is pretty short. We have seen some unfortunate early misses end up being a deciding factor on this map already, especially as there are quite a few tricky patterns in the early sections of this map, namely that one right there, getting catching out Venom Puffs and Tarragon as they trade out on the stream. A little funny stream, and Shogeki actually missing on some of the aim. That's not something you expect to happen on this map. The aim is not really the hardest part. You're really expecting people to break on some of the slider jumps just because their cursor being pulled every which way, trying to follow the sliders.
Yeah, oh, and Yan breaks. That is just going to spell disaster for Georgia with the two FCs from Daziak and Remexia and that backing combo from Venom Puffs on the three-way combo, but Shogeki and Tarragon trying to find some combo, especially with that break from Yan. So Pennsylvania gonna be pulling away just a little bit from that combo as we get halfway through with that 200k lead. This is not looking too good for Georgia.
Yeah, and this map is quite short, not even 2 minutes long, and with another break from Yan and Tarragon dropping as well, I think we can just call that one there. Shogeki will hold into the ending Ki section, but there are two FCs and a reverse choke on Venom Puffs right now. Like, there is nothing left to do about this one. Daziak will drop his combo, but Remexia is there, as he always is, standing strong.
Remexia looking to FC, Willie FC, as we get into the end of this map. And it's looking like we're going to be at HR1 FC for Remexia. 917k score lead for Pennsylvania. That is just complete dominance.
Who else? Who else but this man, Matalis? Over a million score too, 97.6 accuracy. Oh my god. What can you even do?
This guy is so good, bro. No glaze.
Yeah, I mean, that is Pennsylvania taking their own pick as expected. And Matalis, I can hear you through your own mic, or myself.
My bad. I don't know what's wrong. Like, I have noise suppression on and everything, but like...
I think maybe you want to tune your input sensitivity on your mic. Maybe turn it to like 40 decibels or minus 40 decibels or something. Increase your noise gate. Okay, that's a lot better. I think we are mostly fixed now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, maybe Adam can turn you up a little bit as well, as you are a little bit more quiet now. But we'll get that sorted out shortly. There's probably not too much interesting happening in the early parts of this map. You know, Pennsylvania going to run down some of their mechanics picks, Georgia running down their own hidden picks, and probably just I mean, actually not going to be a hidden 3 here. It's actually the Force Mod 2. Interestingly enough, probably testing the waters on the Force Mod picks, but I'm actually not too big on the Force Mods for Georgia. You know, you have Remexia Venom Puffs as the, the obvious 2 to come in for these. And then their third strongest player is probably either Daziak or Bemp, and I mean, you probably would rather have Daziak over Bemp as their third player, although Daziak has shown some really solid scores in the later stages of this tournament, including the one just earlier on the Hard Rock when he was, and if I'm remembering correctly, he was actually the single player to put up a good performance on the tiebreaker last week against New York. So, I mean, people were typecasting Pennsylvania as this 2-man roster for so long, for so much of the tournament. You know, they said, oh, it's just going to be the Remexia Venom Puffs show. Oh, their support players won't be able to keep up once the pool scales. It's just going to be Remexia trying to FC and Venom Puffs right behind him. But that's not really what we've seen so far. The supporting players are able to keep up into the high 6-star range of maps. It's Bemp and it's going to be Bemp closing this out, but closing out this 3-man roster, probably on the hidden, maybe even the easy, but Daziak is no slouch either on these pools, and it does look like we're going to be maybe seeing a hidden or an easy from AC accompanying Tarragon likely on the hidden and Yan Yan likely on the Hard Rock. Although we have seen Tarragon take the Hard Rock on the Force Mod anti-mods before, so who knows, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no Shokeki, so we probably will be seeing Tarragon or Yan Yan on the Hard Rock. And yeah, Tarragon gonna be going Hard Rock and AC10. Is this his first? I don't think, is this his first map of the match?
No, he played in the Hidden 2 earlier.
So we're gonna be seeing AC10 on the Hidden, and Yan Yan.
That is a easy.
Yeah.
That is not the Hidden mod.
No, I said Hidden on AC and then easy on Yan.
Actually, Matalis, there are no hiddens on the side of Georgia in this lobby. That is 2 easies, one on AC and another on Yan Yan. What are we witnessing? Tarragon on the Hard Rock for the double easy. I mean, sure, content. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm down for this. My goodness. Of course, we do have Venom Puffs and Remexia on the double Hard Rock with Bemp on the hidden. Not going to be matching the easies. The easy multiplier is 1.8x, by the way, a little bit higher than your normal multiplier for anti-mod. But But of course, this is not your normal anti-mod. It is quite neck-techy, as you're already able to see and also tell from the song, of course. Cold Tooth Custom, thank you for the custom. Gonna be seeing early misses from AC. Gonna be traded out by Bemp and Remexia as well later on eventually. And there goes Yan Yan. So a little bit of chaos here. It's just, at the end of the day, however, it's just Venopuffs holding onto the FC. Tarragon trades out Remexia's miss as well, a little bit delayed. So it's just AC on a reverse choke against Venopuffs, and the score lead is still incredibly close, but there goes Venopuffs.
Yeah, Venom Puffs is gonna find a break. So AC10 with the near 600 combo on easy, gonna be taking off with this lead. Yeah, it was really close earlier in this map, but that 1.8x multiplier has kind of been, you know, doing a lot, but it doesn't really matter about the multiplier. Georgia is still dominating just a little bit on this map with those breaks from Pennsylvania. Vamp looking, just struggling a little bit down at only 300k, so that's kind of unfortunate on the side of Pennsylvania, struggling on that reading mod.
And even Venopuffs and Remexia faltering a little bit. Remexia finding quite a few misses and slider breaks in the back half of the map there. And although he does still put up quite a decent score, as does Venopuffs with a little bit bigger of a max combo. AC, man, brother. 820 combo on the easy end. Unfortunately, Yan Yan has already left the lobby, but I saw he was holding combo for quite a while as well. And those are going to be some pretty big scores.
Yeah, the double easy for Georgia working out a lot.
So a little bit of a surprise for us, although I'm sure Georgia, I mean, Georgia definitely cooked with that pick, and might even have some leeway, some real estate to work with in terms of the other free force mod pick and the other tech picks in the pool, although there aren't that many tech picks left. Of course, they do still have the Hidden 3 and the Hidden 1, although Hidden 1, Remexia's hidden proficiency been increasing, as we saw from that Hidden 2 at the start of the match, and we'll have to see just how, if they really want to pick into the Hidden 1 later on. But for now, Pennsylvania just continuing with some of those mechanics. This is the Hardock 3 alt pick, and I mean, I think we saw Remexia on the Hardock 3 last week. I do just have to double check that MP, but can we reload? Yeah, I think this is just, I do think this is just running down the mechanics picks.
Yeah, Georgia's been picking into mostly gimmick, and Pennsylvania has been picking into mostly mechanics, so this is very interesting. It's kind of just been, you know...
Yep.
I ran out of words to say, my bad.
I mean, looking at the Hardock 3 stats from last week, this map was not picked a lot at all. I think it was the second least picked map of the entire pool, which is not something you see very often for a slot like Hardock 3. Usually it's stuff like the Hidden 2s or the tapping maps, the more polarizing skill sets that get heavily banned out and not so often picked, but instead it was the Hardock 3, and that does mean Remexia with, I believe, the sole FC, or no, one of 2 or 3 FCs on the map last week, bringing his team to a #1 placing on that map's team leaderboards as well. Going to be stepping in for this one, looking to replicate, of course, accompanied by Venopuffs, and this time it's going to be Daziak. Last week it was Bemp dropping a bit of an unfortunate score. So Daziak stepping in for the Hardock. I do believe they were having some roster issues at some point in time throughout the tournament. I know there have been some struggles in reaching out and getting in contact with Cooper, who's supposed to be their tapping third to support Remexia and Venopuffs. Maybe they are just waiting on him to show up, which is why they're picking into the Hardrocks early on as opposed to the tapping.
It's a pretty good strategy, waiting for your tapping player to reach home to pick tapping. But, you know, early breaks from Georgia. It is still a three-way for Pennsylvania, so that lead is going to go over just a little bit. But Venom Puff's AC is at 94, so that's kind of swaying to the way of Georgia, but, you know, still going to be going over.
A little bit of an aim slot pattern before we get into the Ki section. Is going to be Shogeki and Yanyan finding a quick set of breaks here. Just Tarragon to hold on to the FC for Georgia, and yeah, this lead is just going to continue to grow for Pennsylvania as long as Remexia and Venopuffs can hold on here, which it does look like they will. That is, I mean, as I say that, there goes Venopuffs on an unfortunate miss, and Daziak actually going to be following it up as well. So Georgia, I mean, they don't have a ton of recoveries really to take advantage of this, so it's really just the score lead halting its advance as Remexia and Tarragon have a bit of a standoff during this break time. And Daziak looks to be dancing his cursor along to the beat of the music there as well. But
I've been fun with
yeah,
it.
a bit of a standoff here as we wait for a break to come in and the recoveries to build up.
Yeah, we are halfway through the map, and it is just Remexia and Tarragon holding, but it is a 130k lead. So even if Remexia were to break, there is a little bit of leeway for Pennsylvania. But breaks from Venopuffs, that break from Venopuff is going to give Georgia the advantage, but Shogeki trades it, so it's not really going to matter.
Shogeki missing on those horizontal jumps on the tail end of it, probably just under aiming the first of those notes and then note locking the second. As even on OD10, you can note lock. Yes, it is possible. But here we go into the bridge, and it's still Remexia and Tarragon holding on to the only two remaining FCs in the lobby. As Remexia a little bit of an AC advantage, about 1%, does mean that this lead stays in favor of Pennsylvania. Yanyan and Daziak are on the recoveries, although Venopuffs' accuracy going to be hurting their recoveries quite a bit, but it's not really going to matter when Yanyan and Shogeki keep on missing like that. I mean, there's still Tarragon to hold in the 1v1 with Remexia. There go the 1-2s and a bit of a dispike, but both players hold and into the final. Yeah, but there goes Remexia. What is that? 150k is the score lead here. There's still a chance for Tarragon to pull this back as long as if Daziak and Venopuff stumble, even without them stumbling, it might be enough, especially with their FC, but there goes Venopuffs, and there is an opening. Daziak has a very nice recovery. He has to hold on. Maybe the work put in from Remexia was enough, but the score lead reading 70k, and I think there is just not enough time for Tarragon. Although the score lead is getting very close. There goes Daziak and Venopuffs. You can't be missing at the end like that.
Daziak coming in clutch.
And there it is.
Holding that combo. Despite the miss, Daziak coming in and holding that 700 combo to barely win it for Pennsylvania.
Barely enough. Holding on for barely long enough, just long enough, was Daziak, and Tarragon just barely not able to get her foot in the door. Only needed 30k more points, just needed a couple more seconds of that map. At that combo density, that probably would have been enough to get the lead to flip. But in this universe, that is not how things will play out. And Pennsylvania, Hard Rock 3 going a little bit closer than they expected, although they do secure the point in the end regardless. And the pick will go over to Georgia, where it is a quick hidden 3 pick. Alright, so the hidden 3, bit of flow control on the hidden mod. Of course, it is a custom by Sour Mongoose. Thank you, Sour Mongoose. And it has been quite highly praised from what I've seen, including by some of the mappers involved in the tournament. Mappers who are involved as players. I think notably Cytosine calling out this map as quite high quality for a custom. And some other players also remarking it as one of their best one of the best customs they've seen in 5-digit tournaments. So quite some high praise towards the quality of this map, from what I've heard. Although, just because the map is high quality, we still got to follow that up with some high quality plays from the players. As I'm sure there's no doubt about who can do that on the side of Georgia. Looking at Tarragon once again, who else but Tarragon? And can be Yan Yan and Shogeki to close things out. Last week, Shogeki not having the best of performances on the hidden 3, dropping around a 300k on that map with quite low accuracies as well. Can be trying to pull things back together, as I do believe he actually had a very nice second run on that map last week. So I mean, he can play the map, and he is definitely de-rusted, or he can definitely play the slot. So we'll have to see how well he does in this one. And I do believe that is just going to be a quick abort, as Shogeki's cursor is just sitting at the top of the screen there. And yeah, there it is. There was a Windows update, it looks like. Shogeki getting trolled by Windows. At the very least, it's not a auto update where it just randomly decides to shut off your computer and yeah, run the update. Unfortunate timing though, though we do get right back into things. Of course, on the other side for Pennsylvania, Remexia, Venopuffs, and interestingly enough, Daziak to fill out their third man here. Not Bemp. I would have expected to see him in for the hidden gimmick in the hidden 3. And Shogeki, I'm pretty sure that miss is not due to the Windows update. Unfortunately, going to be having to live with that one, although it is still quite early days in this map, and 3 minutes 20 seconds long. It is not super short, not super long either, but not super short, and because it is flow, there's going to be quite high combo density. So not really going to matter that much. That miss from Yan Yan, however, might end up mattering, and although it is traded out with Remexia, so 2 FCs now to 1.5, but in favor of Pennsylvania at the moment. Taking a quick check-in on the accuracies, that is where Georgia hold advantage. 95s across the board, or mid-low 90s across the board for Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, Tarragon up at 98. Yan Yan at 96 despite the combo struggles, and Shogeki also at 95, although he will once again drop his combo, and along with Yan Yan dropping his combo, that's going to be quite an advantage for Pennsylvania at the moment. Big chain misses everywhere, and there goes Tarragon as well. So now there's nothing on the side of Georgia, and Remexia and Venopuffs are free to do whatever they want in this map, and they are going to be holding combo for quite some time, expanding this lead. As long as they don't get caught up by some of these weird slider rhythms here, although it does look like they have practiced it, and that increased comfort from Remexia on the hidden is starting to pay off. It looks like he has been putting in a lot of practice on this mod as he tries to diversify himself and better support his team and cover their only one real weakness in the hidden mod. Currently holding quite nicely, even better accuracy than Venopuffs. Of course, we're not expecting too many more misses from Tarragon on this map. That is the one chance that Pennsylvania will get, and we'll see how far they can run with this. Venopuffs still on the lone FC with Remexia backing him up, as I mean, who else to do the job than these two? Here we go into some of those cuts. The weird burst links not going to be catching Venopuffs, but they will claim the combos of Remexia and Daziak, as Daziak looking to struggle a little bit more than his compatriots, but still putting in some nice work earlier. However, it is Yan Yan and Tarragon on the recoveries, right on Venopuffs' heels, but there goes the full reset from Pennsylvania, actually, but traded out by Tarragon. So Yan Yan and Shogeki on some recoveries here, 100, not even 150,000, just over 100,000 score left, but I don't know if there's a lot of stuff left to try and chip away at this lead here. It is 2 combos on recoveries. And especially with Dazak and Remexa continuing to find some more chain misses into the ending, that might just be enough, but it's going to be close, coming down to the wire. Is there enough combo density into the ending? I don't know. 40,000, less than 50,000 now, 30,000, 20,000. I think Yan Yan and Shigeki have done it. Tarragon going to be dropping once again right at the end, but there goes the score. And right at the 11th hour, they will combo through the cut triangles, and Yan Yan and Shogeki will bring that point home for their team. This point is brought to you by Windows Update. Oh, Zella. Alright. Well, we took a couple of detours, but all is the same. We have arrived at where we thought we would. The 3 remaining gimmick maps out of the pool, and 3 strong mechanics maps likewise out of the pool, although Pennsylvania still potentially having those tapping maps in their back pocket. But without Cooper, as I'm sort of just assuming that they're waiting for him to show up, there's a little bit of a question of where Pennsylvania decided to go next. Of course, they do still have the Hard Rock 2 to pick into, as well as a bunch of other maps. The Force Mod 1 is also mechanics adjacent. The Hidden 1 might even be a decent pick. Although, of course, being in that hidden mod slot might have quite the comfort, or might offer quite some comfort for the Georgia players, but it does look like they're going to be stepping into the tapping with the DT2 pick here. So this is where we see if they bring Cooper in or not. Although even without Cooper, they have found some decent success on the tapping. You know, looking back at last week, Pennsylvania on the DT2 Desire Blue Sky, the finger control map, it was Taco Snoz to fill out the 3rd player's spot, dropping a decent 500k. Although not playing the DT3, interestingly enough, as, I mean, that was just a New York ban. Trying to look at some of the other tapping maps, as they did play the Force Mod 1 last week, and that was a Cooper map, dropping the 96% hidden FC. So he was present last week. We'll see if he's present today, and just waiting on the players to load into the lobby. So it's DT2, quite a bit more stamina heavy than last week's DT2. Of course, the higher BPM, 228. Going to be speaking for itself. And also just having some longer bursts and streams. There's a little bit of flow as well, as there's some sudden spacing changes that can catch you off if you're not careful. Careful with your reading. It's actually going to be Georgia calling a timeout. Maybe not quite sure on their 3rd player for this one. Although I imagine it's just Shogeki Tarragon, and then you're choosing between General H and Yan Yan? Or maybe it's Yan Yan Tarragon and you're choosing between Shogeki and General H's. Last week we did see General H in for some of the tapping for Pennsylvania, for Georgia, excuse me. Maybe, was it last week or maybe it was the week before, as I am double checking the stats, and it looks like Shogeki was derusted for the tapping last week, dropping a 95 AC, 500k on Rubik's Cube, and some quite nice scores on the DT2 700k and actually high 400k, so one nice score and one decent score. So maybe not quite fully derusted, and due to that they do decide to opt for General H here. Going to be accompanied by Tarragon and Yan Yan. Of course, who else but those two? And it looks like Cooper not showing their face in the lobby. It is Remexia, Venom Puffs, and Taco Snoz to cover the third man slot. So we'll have to see how well Taco Snoz does. He was able to fill the DT2, but of course this map a little bit of a different beast when it comes to the stamina and tapping strain and the technique requirement as well. We will start off with, after that first burst, we do go into a little bit of a finger control section here. So with some practice, Taco Snoz should be quite fine here, but of course the bigger test going to be coming later on in the map. While that is happening, we will be keeping an eye on the accuracies, not just for Taco Snoz, but also on the side of Georgia, as it's actually General H and Yan Yan struggling quite a bit, both hanging around that 90% mark at the moment, but of course it is still early days. But then you compare it to Remexia and Venom Puffs, both holding a solid 95, and I mean, did we really expect much else than this? Of course, there is still plenty of map to play, just under 2 minutes. So lots more strain and to be tested, as there's the first big tapping pattern. Taco Snoz is able to calm game through it, and General H and Yan Yan have also recovered their accuracies, finding their footing in this map, of course, being those tapping players. Yan Yan part of Georgia's runner-up tapping core from last year, and General H, a spawn who is so comfortable and dedicated on that tapping. And speaking of comfort, there go the first misses from Taco Snoz, not able to keep up with the flow while maintaining the tapping as well. So it's all up to Remexia and Venom Puffs. But Taco Snoz's miss did happen right around the halfway mark, and Georgia are already off to a 300,000 score lead. This might have gone sour quite quickly. And Taco Snoz finding even more chain misses, the accuracy not helping his score. Either is Tarragon's Yan Yan, I mean not Yan Yan anymore, but Tarragon holding an FC into the ending. Venom Puffs and General H will trade out alongside Yan Yan, but the score lead is far too gone. And break point on the tapping as Remexia and Venom Puffs put in the necessary work. But Georgia just has a little bit more. Tarragon to match, General H to match, and Yan Yan doing more than just matching. As that's going to be the first break point of the match. So that does put Pennsylvania in a bit of a pickle, a bit of a predicament. The Nomad 2 no longer so accessible for them, as is quite similar in terms of the stamina requirements and a little bit of flow to go along. A little bit of third player struggles on that skill set. where the third player for Georgia is just a little too comfortable, and the pool is not so hard where Remexia and Venom Puffs can just 2v3 with double FCs. It is going to be the Nomad 3 for Georgia, and yes, they are out of the most gimmicky picks in the pool. So I was wondering where they would go from here. Maybe taking a look back at the Hard Rock 3 and how close that one was. Deciding, you know what, let's try another alt map, but maybe this time, if it's not on the Hard Rock mod, then some of their players will have a little bit more struggles and some of our players will have a little bit less struggles. Oh, we do have the players in the lobby now. I'm going to be Daziak as Pennsylvania's third this time. Georgia, just their standard mechanics core of Tarragon, Yanyan, and Shogeki. Snowball 3 not actually having the most variety when it comes to the patterns in the map. There is one sort of diff spike pattern in the middle of the ski eyes, and then of course a little bit of a spike in the solo section near the end of the song. But other than that, lots of calm sections, lots of just basic, almost fundamental alt patterns, I would say, as you can see already. But here we go into the first key eye. It was Shogeki to find an early break right at the end of the intro, but not going to matter too much here as that lead is stagnant. Tarragon holding an SS. Yanyan going to be finding the first real break here, however, and unfortunately did have quite nice accuracy, and there was the rest of Georgia as well. Everyone missing on that first diff spike pattern. Shogeki, Tarragon go down. Daziak, the only player to trade on the side of Pennsylvania, as Remexia and Venom Puffs hold. But of course, they're going to have to do that not just one time. They're going to have to do that a few more times in this map, as Shogeki and Daziak trading back some more misses in the slower section of the map, as will Yanyan. But Remexia and Venom Puffs off to quite a nice lead here, as they will build up some more combo in this slower section.
Back. I'm sorry, guys, for being out for a while.
Good. We are here in the No-1 3 after Georgia took a break point on the DT2. And Georgia finding a three-way miss on the first diff spike of this map. But here we are into the second combo section, and that second instance of that one pattern is coming right up here. There it is. Everyone in the lobby hitting it this time. I think Yanyan missing right before. But Remexia and Venom Puffs hold on to that lead past the halfway point of the map, and if they keep on holding on, this could get a little bit too far out of hand for Georgia to come back from. Daziak going to be finding some more misses into the ending of that second key eye section, but here we go into the bridge. Georgia need Pennsylvania to break fast if they want to take home this point and not give the break point right back. And Remexia and Venom Puffs and Tarragon and Shogeki, everyone actually holding on through that first spike in the solo section. But here we go into the second spike, the big flow control pattern. Shogeki breaks, Daziak breaks, but everyone else continues to hold. Remexia and Venom Puff still on the FCs into the ending. What is this performance from them?
These are some insane scores from Remexia and Venom Puffs. And not to mention, Tarragon also holding in 1,000 combo. He's on a reverse choke. But the two-way FC, as we come into the ending of this map, we might be seeing we might be seeing the best.
I think that's just it.
It might actually just be over. They might have actually just 2-8 FC'd.
I think that's it. There's no more hard patterns left in the map. There's like one on the very last pattern of the map, but there it is. 2-way FC for Venom Puffs and Remexia on the Nomad 3 of all picks, brother. And that is going to snap that breakpoint right back into their hands. Georgia, you know, they saw the Hard Rock 3 was closed. They said, you know what, we can do better. We can take it on the Nomad if it's alt. We can take it on the alt if it's on Nomad. And they throw down the gauntlet, and Pennsylvania snatches it right up.
Pennsylvania, these are some insane FCs. This map is actually like you may think this map is easy. This map is really, really hard. This map's pretty hard.
This map has got some hands, yeah. That's for sure. And although we did take a little bit of a detour, we are now once again exactly where we thought we'd be after 4 picks from each team. We have effectively just traded the picks back and forth for 4 times in a row now. As
this is a
Pennsylvania,
if there is one.
Yeah. Yep. Pennsylvania probably not going to want to pick into the Nomad 2 after how the DT2 went. That was quite a large margin, as the third player struggling quite a bit more than that of Georgia. But also not really any more alt picks left in the pool. There is the Force Mod 1 if you want some funky techie mechanics. Maybe something a little softer than the Hard Rock 1 when it comes to the tech. Although the slider jumps are quite tricky, but this is the other main option that I saw for them as well. Hard Rock 2, just some more Hard Rock, this time in the flavor of precision jumps.
Yeah, this...
I don't know if you're totally familiar with the pool at Matalis, but this is going to be some linear aim, some linear patterns.
I think they played this in the Texas B versus, I think it was Virginia B match. Yeah, Texas B versus Virginia B. So yeah, I know this map is just a lot of just linear aim at CS 6.5. So this is a pretty good pick for Pennsylvania. They have been winning the Hard Rock picks. They did win that HR3, but this is precision as well. And yeah, Remexia and Venom Puffs also really good at precision. Shogeki, Tarragon, and Yan Yan as well. But Daziak also coming in. So this is definitely an even map. This is definitely going to be something to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, people might be discounting Daziak as sort of the third wheel to the duo of Remexia and Venom Puffs, but no, this guy has been showing some really good scores, including a top score for his team on the TB against New York last week. Yeah. Holding on to the biggest combo for his team, matching some of the combos of New York. Of course, unfortunately, it wasn't good enough back then, so we stand here now with Pennsylvania in the losers bracket against Georgia. 2 picks left for each team, by the way. And this is one of those 2 picks for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. This is another mechanics map, so they probably will. They're looking to take this and go on to 1 map away from match point. But early break from Venom Puffs, but it's not really gonna matter. This map, we are like 30 seconds into the map, so it's not really gonna matter.
Yeah, this map is 3 minutes long. Another funny aspect of this map is there's a lot of breaks. I saw some people mention in the pool feedback that this can sort of take you out of the map a lot and not be very satisfying to play in a tournament setting. Although what's not satisfying to do in a tournament setting is miss again like that. Although Venom Puff's going to be traded out by both Tarragon and Shogeki, and there goes Yan Yan as well, so it's a full team reset for Georgia. Remexia actually going to be trading out as well, so not really going to be able to take too much advantage of it, as Venom Puffs will follow right behind him, but it's Daziak to hold on, the only combo in the lobby right now as we are approaching another break.
Yeah, Daziak, he's holding this combo for Pennsylvania. It is around 5K in their lead. So he's going to be needing to hold a little bit longer if he wants the lead to go over a little bit. But the lead is just dead even right now.
Yep, Tarragon and Yan Yan on some incredibly small recoveries. Yan Yan over aiming just a tiny bit, and there goes Shogeki right after him. So it looks like the consistency is just a little bit more in the favor of Pennsylvania. More misses coming from Yan Yan to close out that section, and it's just Tarragon to hold, as Venompuffs and Remexia have also found a little bit of recoveries to match in the case of Daziak falling, but Daziak looking pretty good as we head into the back half of this map. 100k score lead for Pennsylvania at the moment as Remexia falls, but so will Tarragon. Daziak will trade, but Venompuffs once again just always there with the recovery, and Yan Yan again dropping his, not quite able to match. It's on Shogeki for Georgia on these tiny combos that it's so hard to hold on this map, but it looks like Pennsylvania just having a little bit more of an edge on the consistency here. And even when Daziak falls, even when Remexia falls, there is Venompuffs. And even when Venompuffs, even should Venompuffs fall later on, there will surely be teammates there, right there to back him up. And as I say that, there he goes alongside Daziak, but there is who else but Remexia to hold on. The score lead is getting quite close, however. 50k is the gap as Shogeki and Tarragon have built up some nice recoveries, and there goes some more misses. Shogeki finally breaking, but there goes Remexia, and it's all Georgia now in the final seconds of the map. Tarragon and Yan Yan to hold the less score lead is less than 10k. Can they bring it back in and breaking? It's all on Tarragon in the final seconds, but there's barely not enough. 6k is the score lead. And what are we doing? Giving everyone a heart attack.
That another close map. Oh my god.
How many times are you going to do this to us, man? How many more times? Right down to the last seconds. We had it on the Hard Rock 3, less than 30k. We had it on the Hidden 3 even, less than 50k. And now again on the Hard Rock 2, not even 10,000 score difference.
This Pennsylvania just by the skin of their teeth, just barely taking that Hard Rock 2. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now Georgia, 2 picks left, and they have to win this next one, because surely Pennsylvania don't give up another break point. Georgia needing this next one to stay in the game and threaten tiebreaker, or at least secure themselves one last pick in that last round of picks. Question is, where do they go from here? The gimmicks have all been picked out. There is no more 3. I guess there's one last gimmick left in the pool, and they will go for it. The No Mod 5, Eth Ken. Some quote-unquote rhythm. And
map. This is just like an alt map with some weird rhythm.
Yeah. I say quote-unquote for a reason, Madeline. It sounds like you're familiar enough with this map. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to play this and die with Hard Rock just a little bit, so I've got some knowledge on this map. Just a little bit.
Just a little. So yeah, some speed checks as well, mixed in there with the alt. But really, even especially with the OD being all the way down there at 9 flat, not 9.2, not 9.6, just 9.0, flat 9. That's quite gentle. That is quite the softball for the finals stage of a 10k tournament. And on top of that, it's pretty combo gameable as well. This map. Not a lot to miss on from what I've seen, and yeah, especially when you don't have to deal with that Hard Rock mod, it's just CS4, and the spacing not too large either, so as long as you're reading patterns correctly, You should be fine. It is mapped in in a way that is quite readable as well. Very fair reading, very fair spacing changes. They communicate the changes in rhythm quite well. So can we maybe a bit of an act battle, or just I mean, it's a bit awkward to say this in the final stage of this tournament, but it could just be FC or die as well.
Yeah, especially with this type of map. This is kind of just like, forget the act, just combo. This is all a combo map. It is really, it's really easy to just get a high combo, but if you miss with low act, it's kind of just gonna cap your score.
Yep. It's actually going to be Remexia to find the first early miss, unfortunately for Pennsylvania, praying that it doesn't matter because it was so early on. Of course, Venom Puffs and Bemp are to accompany Remexia here, and that miss might actually matter from Bemp right there. On the other side, it is going to be Tarragon, accompanied by Yan Yan and Shogeki. And on the side of Georgia, holding the combos quite nicely so far. As actually, it looks like that miss from Bemp was a Bancho miss.
Oh, and Yan Yan finding a break, so that's not a Bancho miss. So Georgia have a slight disadvantage, but Shogeki and Tarragon looking to hold against that two-way. Oh, and Venom Puff drops. So now, and Bemp dropped. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think those might actually be some real misses. Oh, there we go. Yanyo and Shogeki as well. So once again, down to Remexia and Tarragon in this 1v1.
Where have we seen this before? Tarragon versus Remexia, the only people with relative combo.
Yep. Looking at those accuracies, however, and there goes Tarragon, the big miss. That's a full reset from Georgia as well. That is just going to spell disaster for Georgia, as that score lead immediately spikes to 200,000. And on top of the combos, mind you, Bemp up at 95% accuracy as opposed to Yan Yan's 90 and Shogeki's 92. I mean, Shogeki is matched at the 92 by Venom Puffs, but 95 for Bemp.
Yeah, 95 for Bemp. That is the best act in the lobby. Just a little bit outside of Tarragon, but really great act. But Remexia, the star of this map, holding that 800 combo at 600k. He's gonna bring it in for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and Yan Yan and Shogeki, unfortunately, aiming off these bursts a little bit too soon, a little bit too gun happy, a little bit too trigger happy on the aim, and unfortunately, that will let Remexia just take this reverse choke home and take the point home, a break point at the 11th hour for Pennsylvania, and that is certainly nothing but disaster for Georgia, as also when you see it in Remexia's score.
So
we have been blessed on this holy day.
Pennsylvania edging the victory, but edging the victory door. Georgia down to there. Is this next pick? Oh, it's Pennsylvania's pick. So Georgia, if they want any chance of bringing this to TV, they need to win a breakpoint, and they need to find another map.
Yeah, and that is exactly why that Nomad 5 breakpoint is so catastrophic for Georgia. Pennsylvania, winning out the Hard Rock 2, all the Hard Rocks, winning out the DT4 and the Nomad 3, now the Nomad 5. I mean, there is a bit of a question as to where they go next, but I feel like the Force Mod 1 is still quite good. Some awkward slider jump mechanics, a little bit of density reading might be in favor of Georgia, but even then, they still have picks like the Nomad 1. They have picks like the Nomad 4 even, that is quite aim heavy despite the incredible gimmicky nature of it. Maybe that is a reason for them to avoid it. The Hidden One, also a bit of an aim map this week. Once again, some high BPM aim mechanics. So still quite some good picks left on the table for Pennsylvania.
We could maybe see a DT4. I'm not sure.
I mean, DT4 is already picked.
Oh yeah.
Right at the beginning.
I'm a genius. And we're going to be
Nomad 1.
This is the aim mechanics map. This is the just your regular Skyflame aim map. So this is kind of just seeing who has the best aim consistency, who can keep their composure throughout these jumps. I know there is a few jump diff spikes in this map that catch you off guard out of nowhere. But, you know, this is kind of just testing to see who has the aim consistency and who is the best at aim.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at the players in this lobby. I was talking a little bit, perhaps a little bit too much about the Force Mod 1, but Venom Puffs, my god, this man has such incredible no-mod aim skill cap. It's ridiculous, the things that he can do, and I have no doubt that he's going to put on a show for us. It might actually be more of a Venom Puffs show than a Remexia show on this one. I'll go out on a limb and say that.
We're going to be seeing Mr. Brown come in. Maybe.
I think that's his first map of this match.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Throne, he's got some pretty good no-mod aim skill cap and consistency. So if we do see him in, this could be, you know, Georgia. This could be good for Georgia. Oh, and then Shogeki's coming. You might see Shogeki.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we are just looking at the standard trio of Remexia, Venom Puffs, and Daziak for Pennsylvania. And for Georgia, it's going to be Tarragon and Yan Yan, accompanied by Mr. Throne. Surprisingly, there is no Shogeki on the aim mechanics consistency. And Shogeki, thinking it was DT1, no, your team has banned that. All the way back at the start of the match. You are not allowed to pick that map, brother. You are not allowed to pick that one. We are in for a no-mod 1 here, as it does look like it's Mr. Throne to be the third player, as this is the most mechanically intense map remaining in the pool. What else other than some no-mod aim consistency by a beloved RIP artist. Rest in peace, Kurosaki Maon. May you forever be remembered. Regardless, this is sure to be a weekend to remember, as might I remind everyone of what is at stake. Georgia on quite the rebuild year, falling early only for their star players to finally wake up. Shogeki de-rusting and helping his team go on a ginormous losers bracket run, going to tiebreaker against Maryland, but since then the closest match they've had was 7-3 victory over Michigan. Looking to return to their place at the top after losing so many of their top players from last year. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania looking for their first real rodeo in 5USC. Of course, with the arrival of Remexia and Venom Puffs, revitalizing this state, giving it some real firepower for the first time in history.
And it's looking like Pennsylvania are going to take this big lead. Pennsylvania looking to continue their losers bracket run.
Yeah, it is the end of the first Ki, and Daziak for Pennsylvania is the only player to still hold on to the combo. And as I say that, he will be dropping. Gonna be traded out by Yan Yan, but he has already produced 80,000 score in his team's favor. Venom Puffs and Tarragon are the remaining recoveries, but he has put in some quite decent work already for this lead, and this team will have to close it out in the back half of this map, as here we go into another build-up section into the next time.
And Venom Puff is still holding as we get into the second Ki, 500 combo. The lead is steadily growing. We are at 160K. If Georgia can't find a way to build up some combo in the end and hope for Pennsylvania race, we might be seeing the end of Georgia.
Yeah, and there goes Yan Yan as well. Every little recovery matters at this point for Georgia. You can't be missing like that.
And it's looking like Pennsylvania. It might still be a chance for Georgia. They need to hold. It's Tarragon and Mr. Throne on that slight build-up combo, but Venom Puffs and Daziak holding into this game part.
Yeah, and even if Venom Puffs and Daziak were to full reset here, there's almost 300,000 score in favor of Pennsylvania. I think we're just looking at the beginning of the end. Georgia, their recoveries are not large enough to pull back this big of a lead, especially with Yan Yan continuing to struggle. There goes Mr. Throne. It is just Tarragon to hold into the ending of the map, but it is already 300,000 score. This point is long gone. Pennsylvania dropping a break point, but snatching it right back and not letting their foot off the pedal for the rest of the match. They will be the ones to close things out. Georgia will not be making a repeat appearance in the grand finals, and it will be Pennsylvania moving on in the losers bracket of 5USC 2026.
Yeah, Georgia, the second place team from last year, unfortunately falling out in finals after losing a lot of their core players, but a really good performance nonetheless from Georgia, making it all this way with a lot of newcomers. Georgia's looking pretty good, but Pennsylvania, the new kids on the block, showing they had a chip on their shoulder. They had something to prove to show that they have it in them to be one of the best. And they are going to be moving on to play, I think, in about 40 minutes.
45 minutes or so, yeah.
5 minutes to play against New Jersey. So that is definitely something to look out for.
And it really can't be understated enough how much of an impressive run this has been from Georgia. You know, losing out the likes of Pieman Ray, Ribbon, Glix Hunter, 3 incredible players who have ranked sky high out of 5-digit at this point. And then you're replacing them with a 6WC player and a couple promotions, or a promotion and I think a spawn was for these 3 players, General H, Mr. Throne, and AC. A couple of promotions and a spawn, and they managed to put together such an impressive lower bracket run, only to fall when really they ran into basically one of the favorites to win this whole tournament, one of the teams with a potential to win this whole tournament, and definitely one of the teams expected to make it to grand finals weekend. And of course that team is Pennsylvania. Your winners for right now, your winners for this match: Bemp, Remexia, Venom Puffs, Daziak, Taco Snoz, and Cooper, who unfortunately did not make an appearance today. And as you said, Mattles, they will be playing in just under 45 minutes from now at 2 UTC up against New Jersey. And that will be both the 4th place decider match and also the match to decide who makes it to grand finals weekend in 5USC 2026. But for now, that will be all from us. We'll be wrapping things up here, as we do have another match going on the B stream. I believe that's going to be Texas B versus New Jersey B in the minor league. We'll be sending you guys over there in just a moment. But for now, thank you so much for watching. That has been all from us. I have been Blessed, joined by Matalus, and we'll see you guys next time in just a little under 45 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Bye, guys.
"恐れ